Okay, is this recording now? So we're recording and recording. Okay, here goes. Actually, hello. There's a lot of background noise, so I might move around a lot. Just a heads up. And there are lizards all around me, so if my eyes are darting around, it's because there are all these exciting water dragons moving around. So hello, I thought I would make an introduction to what I'm trying to do here, tell you a little bit about myself and what I hope we can maybe get out of it moving forward. So my name's Kelly. Welcome to this channel or this space where I'm hoping we can have a kind of spiritual book club or a kind of maybe show and tell where we just talk about different things that we're interested in and I share with you my learning journey. So what I thought would be really cool is if we had like a kind of spiritual book club. And I call it Spirited Away after a few prompts from guides. I kept asking, I've got all these different names, I don't know which one to use, any guidance would be great. And one of them that just kept popping into my head was Spirited Away. And I'm like, oh, that's a movie, that's confusing, like I want something like that, but not that exactly. And I came up with a couple more that I really liked, and some that were really far away from this, but I really liked them. And I was saying, okay, give me a sign, and I drew some cards for each different idea, and I kept getting the strongest, like more like positive major arcana cards for Spirited Away. I was like, oh, are you sure that's the go? Wow, there's so much noise around here. There's like chainsawing, all kinds of stuff. It's been a long time since I've made any kind of video or been online or on camera, so apologies if I'm a bit awkward. I still trying to get comfortable with it. Also being able to see your own reflection when you're making a video is kind of weird, because I'm one of those people who doesn't really like even looking in the mirror or hasn't historically liked doing that. So this is really pulling me out of my comfort zone. But it's Aquarius season, it's the new year, 222. And I've really been feeling called to create some kind of learning space for people around these subjects. So I'm gonna just give it a go and see what happens, see if there's something here that people like or relate to that can bring us together. And if not, that's okay. We'll adapt, try something else, or I'll let it go. So my name's Kelly, and Spirited Away was supposed to be a kind of book club, like a spiritual book club. I really felt called, as I said, to create some kind of learning space, and I think I'm a teacher, like in my soul, like my calling, all of that, like I'm a teacher. But spiritual stuff I know nothing about. Like that is not anything I'm remotely qualified to talk about. It's not something I know a lot about, but it's something where I'm really curious and have been learning a lot and reading a lot and following a lot of people and practicing a lot of stuff. And I thought, well, why do I have to lead it? Why can't I can lead it, but why do I have to be the authority? I don't have to be the teacher. I thought maybe I just talk about what I'm reading and what I'm going through and what I'm learning, and we can all join in together. So, that might start off in the YouTube comment section, or you guys can make your own videos. But maybe if, there's enough interest or you guys are into it, I could create learning materials, we could have a Facebook study group. So yeah, I think what I want to do is lead from the back and just talk about what I'm learning as a student. And that might help you find your way to certain things that you like. Maybe a certain book you might want to read, watch a certain movie. There might be certain community leaders or, certain tarot decks, or like anything you're interested in that you might get, some study notes from or some ideas about here, and vice versa. So yeah, I like this idea of leading from the back. And for anyone out there who's been a teacher or a tutor in any capacity, you must be familiar with that feeling of, I'm learning this all over again as I teach it, or I understand something even better now that I'm talking about it and explaining it to someone else. And I'm really hoping that we can all kind of rejoice and learn in that as well. So that's the 5-minute version, or the 30-second version. I have no idea how long it's been. So my name's Kelly. I'm currently in Roma Street Parklands in Meanjin, Brisbane on Turrbal and Jagera lands. I acknowledge the traditional owners that this land was never ceded, and that these have always been places of learning, teaching and wisdom generally. This is a really beautiful space, Roma Street Parklands. It's in the heart of the city. I'm on bluey country, if anyone out there has kids. I'm also here recording with my baby in the pram, and he's just woken up from a nap. So if there are some breaks and pauses, it's because I'm attending to him, and also because there's lawns being mowed, and I have no idea how good the audio quality is going to be. So this might not work, but like, it's taken me a little while to finally sit down and hit record. And I think if I had waited any longer for the perfect moment when I would be alone, or in the right space, or where the conditions were perfect, this would never have happened. I would never have sat down to hit record. So hopefully the low production value helps communicate authenticity, because really I have no time or ability to be anything other than myself and my shabby ends and my nervous sweat stains. So I hope that's not offensive or seems disrespectful to you guys, because this is really just what I'm capable of. I also want to acknowledge this YouTube channel, Voicing Light, which was originally Wild Ceremony. Christina over there makes these videos where she's sitting and walking through the park or going on a hike, and I really love those. And they're such a low maintenance production, but it's so peaceful to watch them and just feel like you're in the park as well. And that she's just being herself, you know. And I think one of the things that stopped me back from ever making something like this is I thought, oh, I don't have time to, you know, put graphics together and make it really perfect, and, you know, I can't afford a microphone or whatever. But you know, because I saw her videos and she's leading by example, it just really inspired and empowered me to not overthink it too much. But I might overthink it in the future, I don't know. I wanted to do this at my desk, but the baby wouldn't go to sleep. So I was like, okay, let's go for a walk. We'll go for a walk. If Voicing Light Christina can do it, then I'll have to go. So thanks so much to you for your leadership. So I keep looking down away from the camera. It's really weird being on screen. A little bit about me. As I said, my name's Kelly and I live in Meanjin in Australia. I really wanted to make these because I started going through, I guess, what you'd call like a spiritual awakening. That's what the kids are calling it, though to be honest I don't really know how that works as a spectrum, where it starts and begins, because it wasn't like really cool spiritual awakening like some people seem to get, where you wake up one day and you've got superpowers, like, oh, I see ghosts, or, you know, like my third eye was burst open like a volcano erupting. Oh, baby's crying. There's a baby in the video. Oh, baby. Okay. Down you go. When people walk past, I keep saying, like, pretending that I'm talking to someone who's talking back, because I feel awkward, and I'm like pretending that I want to Zoom call. So I'm like, oh no, you go, you speak. Okay, and then I'm like, okay, they can't. So I'm less self-conscious. Should just not be self-conscious. So what, someone walks past and goes like, oh look, I want to be YouTuber, like, so what? That's something else I'm trying to heal, I guess, because I was super critical growing up, and I mean just up until like 2 years ago I was just super judgmental, which was great because it gave me cool analytical skills, which helped me a lot at uni, and just generally. But it also meant that I was really cynical, and tearing people down a lot, and tearing myself down, and that's not a nice way to live or be or contribute. What happened to me is, so I went through, or I'm still going through, kind of a spiritual awakening. It wasn't super cool like some people get, where it's all spontaneous and they wake up one morning and like their third eyes burst open and they can see dead people and they can, I don't know, like bend spoons or sorry, I'm being facetious now. But as far as I know, I don't have clairs active or anything. Ooh, you see the lizard go by? That lizard. Anyway, but what happened was, I guess like a lot of people, I got pregnant and that really cracked me open. So I my background is I have a creative writing degree, I did my honours and a PhD. I was really active in the union, like super involved in writing and politics and communication and media. And I was on the combined contraceptive pill and I kept having mini strokes / really intense migraines that looked like mini strokes. And that was really starting to get a little bit scary because it kept happening. I even had a friend who had a proper stroke, and it may not have been related to the contraception. Like I have kind of poor circulation or blood flow anyway. A fish in a Christmas cracker told me that I was dead, and an acupuncturist once told me that I had stagnant blood. So that kind of freaked me out as well. So yeah, like it was probably a lot of things. I'm not your doctor, but for me, I started freaking out about the contraceptive pill. So and I'd been on it since I was about 17, 18. And I'd been on it for about 6 years or something. So I was like, all right, finally I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna come off it. And what happened was, among other things, my period synced up with the moon. So I was like bleeding or ovulating on full moons and new moons. And I was like, that is so weird. Like the whole 28-day thing had always been curious to me. And I was like, why did I sync up? Is it a coincidence? I started getting really interested in the moon and reading about lunar cycles. Of course, that kind of led me down the astrology rabbit hole because it was the only thing that was really explaining what was going on. Science kept saying, actually, no, that doesn't really happen. I was like, that's happening to me, and it happens to people I know, and it happens to people online. Like, clearly something's going on. The other thing that happened was my hormones started going a little bit crazy as I came off the pill. So I was getting super confident, assertive. I guess my testosterone was surging, and I felt like a superhero. I fell in love with someone I work with. My partner and I at the time broke up. I got pregnant really, really quickly into this new relationship. And then getting pregnant just kind of cracked me open again. Like I came off the pill and it was like I woke up, and I don't mean that in a spiritual, like enlightenment way, but it felt like I'd been asleep, and all of a sudden I had energy, and all of a sudden I felt like howling at the moon, and my dreams were really vivid, and just like that hormonal explosion was just like I was a different person. And then of course falling in love and then getting pregnant again just cracked me again. It was just like I was an egg, and now I couldn't get all the pieces back together, and I was vulnerable and I was sensitive, and just stuff was happening to me that I couldn't really explain. And when I was about 3 or 4 months pregnant, I was in a lecture with a friend. It was about Freud and neuroscience, funnily enough. And I was watching this GIF that was on this slideshow. It was like huge up on the stage, on the screen during this public lecture. And it was a GIF of an MRI of the brain. And it was basically photos of different layers of the brain. But they were run so fast it looked like a movie, and it looked like the brain was like blossoming. or like unfolding or something. And I was just kind of hypnotized by the image of this brain, and I was just staring into it. And while I was staring into it, I had like this, I only can describe as a waking dream, where kind of all of a sudden, like in my head, I was lying in bed at night and there was a newborn lying belly down against my belly, and they kind of snapped their head up in this creepy way, and they're like communicating with me telepathically, and it had this deep voice like Nibbler in Futurama, and they said, "I am an old soul, older than even you, don't let me die." And I was like, what? They said, "I am an old soul, I am as old as the beginnings of the universe, don't let me die." I was like, okay. And then I was back like in the lecture, and I was like, what was that? And I was like, that was trippy. And then I started having that as a recurring dream, like the same thing, just on repeat. And usually when I have recurring dreams, they're about something that I need to resolve, like something that I need to bring into my conscious mind. Like I've always been interested in dream analysis and that kind of stuff. But this was nothing like that, and it was always exactly the same. And yeah, and then I started having other dreams that were kind of similar like that. And so I started getting kind of interested in spirit babies as well. But then that hit pause for a while. That didn't really eventuate into much else. I'd be happy to talk about that because I really want to talk about spirit babies. But yeah, and then after that, other things started happening, and then I was a mum, and I was super lonely and isolated, and I started getting other intuitions and fears and anxieties, and started like sensing like other baby spirits, and I thought I was haunted for a while. And then so the whole kind of are ghosts real question put me on this other path where I started getting really interested in like meditation again. So yeah, I want to talk about everything. So I want to talk about some spiritually inclined like self-help books and instruction. So I'm really interested in like Michael Singer, really interested in some Buddhist traditions, really want to talk about like some science as well. So I want to talk about Tesla and Einstein. I want to talk about like quantum theory. I'm not a physicist, but you know, let's talk about it. It's fun. Let's pretend that we have a chance of understanding something. I want to talk about numerology and tarot. I want to talk about life path numbers. I want to talk about Myers-Briggs, a little bit of astrology. I'm going through my Saturn returns at the moment, so if you want to talk about Saturn returns or Aquarius season, or Aquarians as well, I'm super keen to talk about everything and anything. But I do want it to start as kind of like a book club. But if you have suggestions or anything like that, let's just go for it, and have some fun with it. So yeah, I can see I've been talking for a while now, but yeah, so that's me. Excuse the shoddy production quality. I'm just going with the flow. Hang out. Ooh, there's an ibis behind me, or a bin chicken. Hello, ibis. There's so many. Oh, there's another ibis. They probably think I have food. I don't have food. Oh yeah, and I'm a mum. I've got a 3-year-old and this little 4-month-old in front of me. So yeah, being a parent means you're probably going to see this baby in this video a lot. I originally wanted to be super neat and polished and be like, no, like I have my work life and my hobbies, and then I have my mum life. But for me, that's not going to work. For other people who are able to separate anything like that, that's awesome. Like, go you. I have not worked out how to do that. I am one of those mums who feeds her baby to sleep and never puts them down and never lets them cry and then wonders why they won't sleep. So there's going to be a bit of baby in the videos. I hope that's okay and not too alienating. because I did think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about like where I live or how old I am, or maybe I should try not mentioning kids because people will be like, oh, I can't relate to that. Like, I'm not gonna hang out with this, 28-year-old mum in a park in Brisbane. Like, I don't have anything in common with that lady. But you know what? I can't even pretend to not have the life that I do and not be exactly in the demographic that I am. So yeah. Super. Oh, hello! You're smiling. You're a happy baby. I won't show you a baby every time. But there's a baby. He just looks so happy. I had to bring him up and say hello. Hello. I have really mixed feelings about babies online. Hey, I know. Oh, that's you on the video. I have a lot of respect for people who like blur out the kids' faces or give them their privacy and such. But you're just a baby, right? You're not worried yet. Yeah, you're not worried yet. So what I'll do as well is when we go through our lessons, I will make up study packets. So little like leading questions and quotes from books, just like little PDFs that you can download for free, of course. I don't know how I'm going to share those yet. Can you link files on YouTube? I don't know. I'll find a way to get them to you. I've also got like an editing website because that's my side hustle. That's my mummy pocket money job. Oh, I know, funny. Yeah, mummy's editing theses once you're asleep. So yeah, maybe I'll just like create a sub page just for you guys or something. But yeah, anyway, please tell me a bit about yourselves. I'm super excited to see who's around. In case you care, I'm a solar Taurus with a Sagittarius moon and Libra rising. As I said, I'm going through my Saturn return in Aquarius. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, but just going to try to follow my bliss while thinking of a way to feed my family and try to get some stability at the same time. I'm a life path 7, if anyone is interested in that, 34/7. So yeah, expression and stability will be themes for me. I want to talk about this stuff in another video. What else? I'm an ENFP. Oh, my baby needs my attention and my love now. So yeah, tell me a bit about yourself. I hope to see you on some of the videos that we go over, some of the stuff that we go over. Okay. Oh, so I just remembered something that I really wanted to say, which is really like the whole reason why I started doing this at all. And that's because I know that going through kind of a spiritual journey, for want of a better word, whether it's an awakening or a hobby or just like refining your faith or redefining that or whatever that is for you, or any kind of period of transformation, can be so incredibly lonely, like so incredibly isolating. And for me, that came through parenting. That came from being a parent and just being isolated from my friends, isolated from work, isolated within my own family. And in a way, I'm really grateful for that because it pushed me inwards. It pushed me towards the stuff and inside myself and connected me to guides and just forces way bigger and higher and grander than myself. But at the same time, having a community where you can talk about this stuff together and know that, you're kind of alone together and not alone can really help too. So, if you're a bit confused and you're doing the self-teaching thing like I am, there's a place for all of us here, hopefully. So, sending love through the camera, sending love through the internet. I hope you feel some of the peace and love that all these trees are giving me right now. So hope to meet you soon.